What it do, y'all? We are live with another show, man. This your boy, West African Floyd, North End Floyd, Hollywood Floyd, whatever y'all want to call me. Back again with a bonus show, a bonus episode, man. This gonna be a powerful, this gonna be a impactful episode that a lot of people been waiting for. A lot of people been waiting a few weeks for this show, man. I got Gary Senegal. What's up, Justin? What's up, my boy? Chicken shit. What's up, y'all, man? Hey, I appreciate everybody tuning in. There he is right there, man. That's the man right there. Everybody been waiting for him. Everybody been waiting weeks for this, man. Weeks for this conversation from KikBack.
We're here.
I got Gary on the show. Gary, what's up, man?
What's up, man? What's up, KikBack? It's a pleasure, man. I'm humbled. I'm thankful. I'm humbled, man, and honored to be here on the KikBack, man. And what's
man,
up,
I'm honored to have you on here, man. You've been doing a lot of things in the community for years, so man, I'm honored to have you on. It's a blessing, and I'm speaking on that.
I appreciate that. First, I want to give a shout out to give honor and praise to God for all my Catholics, for all my Baptists, for all my Jewish, my unorthodox Jews, my Orthodox Jewish, my Hindus, my Kojic Church of God in Christ, my sanctified, my Malaysian religion, my Muslim religion. I want to give, because it's all one. My thing is one city, one voice. We all need to unify. So I want to get that out the way first. And Jesus, God, whatever you believe in. I just want to give praise and glory to Him first. So that's it. We got that. Now let's get it.
No doubt. And like I was saying earlier, man, I see the shirt looking good. The shirt looking good, man.
Going again. We go round two. It's round two, man.
Yeah. So Gary, hey, somebody asked me earlier. Was you from Beaumont? I said, yeah, he's from Beaumont. So a lot of people, I didn't know he must not been from Beaumont, but a lot of people, I'm not gonna say a lot of people, but him specifically, he didn't know you was from Beaumont. So let him know where you from.
Born and raised Beaumont, Texas, man. I was born in the Pale Archie, raised in the North End. Right there off of Fillmore and Dallas, man. That's
okay.
That's it is. Yeah, north. So
yeah, I'm right there off of Fillmore and El Paso.
That's it. Went to Central, graduated Central class of 1992.
Hey, I got the 1992 Bowie Buffalo shirt on.
I see that, boy. All of most of my class. I went to Austin, but they was all of my homeboys was at Bowie. So yeah. I saw that shirt. I say, boy, I know he gonna get a lot of love for that T-shirt, man.
Oh yeah, man. I got to throw it back sometimes, man. So to start it off, man, we was he say, you from the hood. But yeah, man, the conversation we was talking about before we jumped on live, and we was talking about voting, and I want to apologize to you from last year because I'm one of those cats. I didn't vote, man, and you know why I didn't vote? I was dependent on other people. I thought you had it really going, and so I was just lazy. I was ignorant. And I didn't go out there and I didn't do my job to vote. And when she won, it just blew me away. It just took me for a surprise. So I'm glad that you're on the show to personally apologize for not going out doing what I was supposed to have done. You know what I'm saying?
And apology accepted. I'm hard on myself. I should have been that much more out there, so that you could see, that you maybe if I'd have did a little bit more, you probably would have had the unction in that. Maybe I do need to go and vote, So that's just how I am, But now it's apology accepted, and no need to apologize. Let's just get it done this time,
What you feel about? I know the coronavirus is hitting right now, and it's not. I don't know how effective it's going to be next year, but as far as getting people out there to vote, is there anything that you would change now as far as to get people out there to vote since last year?
Change me by like my approach.
Yeah, anything you learned different? I mean, that you're gonna use like the experience from last time.
Honestly, what I did learn, they call it the parrot syndrome. See, I like to help. I'm a natural, helper, natural giver. Like I'm a solution seeker. And I'm excited about change, and I'm excited about, I'm a visionary, so I can see it. And a lot of times I end up saying what my plans are, what I'm doing, what I want to do, what I see. And that Paris syndrome, those people with the platforms already and the reach, they'll take what I said and run with it, and then it'll look like I'm, for the people that don't know me, they know the people that they have the platform already, and they're echoing what I'm saying, and then they'll give their vote to them. So it's kind of tricky, but then again, I don't want to not say certain things, because it looks like I am the new guy. It looks like I'm not knowledgeable of certain things. But this go around, I'm having a lot of people around me. And one thing that they don't know, I surround myself with a lot of sages, a lot of smart people, man, a lot of people with experience, and that help me, and they saying just go with it, say it, tell it all, because now it's documented. So if you hear it again, see, I'm glad that you had a lot of people on here before, because they're not gonna say what I'm saying. So this is the first time that they're gonna hear this. So I wouldn't change really nothing. It's just really actually putting a little more boots on the ground. That's pretty much it.
Okay, so I had Mike Getz on last week, and he said that you should run for councilman instead of mayor.
Right.
What do you think about that?
My thing, when people tell me that, I'm like, well, what's the difference? Like why not? Why not run for mayor? Like, why not? Why, they never say why I shouldn't run for mayor. I've actually heard you're too important to run for the mayor. You'll have more power running for a a councilman. I'm like, really? Like, come on, man. Like that doesn't even make sense.
I heard that also. That you have to be more powerful as a councilman. I'm like,
But see, one thing, and I want to tell this to your viewers: never let somebody put their limitations upon you. Like, I'm different. Regardless of what position I do, my reach is going to be the same because of the influence that I have. That mayor position has it's an influential position. It's a figurehead. So we're in a 53% African American city. So that figurehead would be me. So that reach that I would have a different reach, a different influence versus somebody else. So versus being a councilman, everybody knows the mayor. Don't really people know the councilman. Everybody knows the mayor. So, and everybody would listen to the mayor. That's the man, the number one man, in charge. So why not? Why? So that's what I'm going after.
Okay, so he also said you need to touch base with the West End. You got to do more than just the North and South, man. That's what he said.
I was waiting on that. I was waiting on that question as well. And I want to, challenge the West End. Let's put a meet and greet together. I don't hide from anything. I love people. I like talking to people. And I want to say this, like, I don't do anything for the West End. Like, I'm answering that question. I'm not saying I don't do anything, but I'm saying Stop the Violence was for Beaumont. The West End is in Beaumont, and I want to address that since I didn't do anything for the West End. Last year at one of the forums on Gladys, I forget the name of the church. It was one of the last forums that we had. They asked about it. The question was, is crime a problem in Beaumont? Our current mayor said no. Everybody else said no. And it got to me. And this was in the West End. And I told them, I said, if you guys don't elect the right person for this position, crime is going to reach your neighborhood. It's going to expand. When something expands, it enlarges its territory. I said, if you don't put the right person in charge for this, it's going to affect your guys' community, which is the West End. 4 hours later, that was at 6 o'clock. 4 hours later, that's when the beloved aunt was murdered in the West End. And that's when Aunt was murdered.
Okay.
And they played that clip of me saying it at the forum. This guy said this 4 hours ago, that we need to do something in this area. And that's when I started pushing Stop the Violence. I had rallies out there, and I want to go to the West End. I know a lot of people in the West End, from the Amelia area, from off of 105, behind the mall. And think about it, Dad's on Deck was at the mall in the West End. So that's north. They consider that northwest, but it's still the West End. And there was an issue in the West End. Who went to take heed to adhere to the issues? I did in the West End with Dad's on Deck. So you got to be careful when Mike and I, we respect each other, but he's endorsing another candidate. So of course he can't tell the truth really about me. He has to say certain things, and I understand that's the game that we playing. Yeah. But we have to be smart. The citizens have to be smart and say, well, wait a minute, wasn't Dad's on Deck in the mall in the West End? Isn't Stop the Violence? Wasn't he in the West End? So I don't know about that statement, So that's we just have to be smart, man, cognizant of what people say.
Are we gonna see more Stop the Violence rallies?
And see this COVID really, and he addressed it too. COVID really is I want to stay in compliance with the laws, with the rules. I want to respect people, because I know people that have died. Rest in peace. My coworker, my fellow correction officer just died from COVID. Mr. Champ. Thoughts and prayers and condolences to his family and friends. So it's serious. This is really, really serious. And I'm antsy. My wife is looking at me, because I'm ready to get out there, but I have to respect other people's, boundaries and, the seriousness of this COVID. So I want everybody to don't think that I'm just laying back, but, because if we do get out there, certain people will get offended because it's a large group of people doing something, it's like, well, look what they're doing. So you have to think, be strategic about it and just, go with it.
So Dad's on Deck, that was your idea.
That's right.
So what all did y'all do? Y'all patrolled the mall area? Because some of them kids was going across to the bowling alley and to the
called fight night. Yep, they was labeling it, calling it fight night. What we did, my thing is I'm always I said this at Pastor Felshaw's church. If you want to stop somebody from stealing your fish, teach them how to fish. So my thing was we have to meet the problem. We identify the problem and we have to come up with a solution. And the solution is to be out there. Dads, males, we have a presence. When you see a bunch of males and dads and fathers, that's a presence. That's a strong presence. And it's up to us. We're the dads. We're the protectors. We have to protect the women. We have to protect our children, and we have to lead. So my thing was we galvanized a lot of men together, all nationalities, black, white, brown, pink, polka dot, plaid. And we go out there and we stand in a strong alliance and a strong fort. And we're not out there to beat the kids. We're out there to mentor them and talk to them. There was a conversation piece. We had food out there. We had I got with the general manager, Miss Michelle. I hope she's watching. She was kind of hesitant at first, but then when she started seeing it, we talk all the time. When are you gonna come back? And she gave us hospitality rooms, free hospitality room in the mall, to have meetings or whatnot. So what we would do, we would see the kids out there. We would meet them with a conversation. Ask them like, what you doing out here? What you got going on? And that's the thing. Leaders have to go. You can't just sit in the castle and address problems. You have to go to the problems. You have to go to the people and understand and see what's really going on in the psyche and the mind of the people. You can't just analyze it from afar. You have to put boots on the ground, get in the trenches to see what's really going on. A lot of those kids, single parents, mom is at work, they don't have nothing to do. And that's the first thing out of those kids' mouth. Well, Mr. Senegal, we don't have nothing to do. Now, does that condone bad behavior? No, it doesn't. But if as a leader, I'm thinking root cause analysis, I'm thinking conflict resolution, I'm thinking, okay, well, he said he doesn't have anything to do. So in my mind, psychologically, that says you really want to do the right thing, but the Bible tells you the idle hands is a devil workshop. So then I need to give them something to put in their hands constructively to do, and that's what we would be out there, helping them out, talking to them, maybe you work, what you need, this and this and that.
if you become mayor, are there any programs you're gonna implement for the youth? Because I remember when I was in like 14 and 15 years old, we had like summer jobs and programs like we'll just go clean up the school or something like that, but it kept us busy and we got a paycheck. We wasn't out running the streets and all that.
I remember that.
Yeah.
Chicken. It was called, one of them was called Chicken.
Yeah.
It was something else. It was a bunch of them, you know, the Salvation Army, the Y. It was all of that. When you elect the right person and that has that authority to implement and to even suggest those things, I come from that. You see what I'm saying? I come from that. So I already know what's needed. So of course I would be ready and willing to implement that and to look what programs, to see what councilman is over that area. My thing is I want to get with each council member in their ward and we implement that in their ward. And that way it's covering the entire Beaumont. Not just one big facility. You know, we have to do it in all wards. You know, then we'll cover it. I'll get to another. I'm going to get to another question. I had a solution that we was trying to implement back then, and you know, I just got manpower. But that's not even a question, man. We'll get that done.
Hey, what's one way you think we can stop the violence in Beaumont? What do you think like we need to do? Do we need parents to be more involved, or what's your solution for it?
Yeah, it's you can't blame the kids always. You can't just blame the parents. It's a twofold thing. You know, it's the kids and the parents. Some parents want to be friends to their kids, and some kids just don't have parents. And some kids just everybody has their own mind. I know parents that are model citizens, and the child just decided to go left. You know, I know some kids that are great kids, and the parents just don't have the time. You know, so my thing is, it's a discussion. What we're doing right now, having somebody in authority to actually organize something to prohibit the violence in the city. Now, just think if I was the mayor and I started Stop the Violence. The reach that I had unofficially, the reach that I had with Stop the Violence and Dads on Deck. Imagine if I would have had the official authority with mayor and Dads on Deck would have been implemented under that title and Stop the Violence under that title. You know, I have a lady by the name of Marsha Rivera. She used to be Marsha Pritzker, but she's married now. Rivera, Marsha Rivera, Corrective Creations. It's strictly for felons. Trade schools. She has pipe fitting, welding. Now she has CDL, truck driving. She has there's some other thing, electrical, carpentry, and what they get a certificate, and they get a certificate in that field. And like my thing is talking to them, letting them know what's the number one thing that people are out here committing crimes for: money.
Yeah.
Everybody wants money. So my thing is, we'll tell them don't do this. We'll take the crack out their hand. We'll take the drugs out of their hand, and we're not putting anything back in their hand to make more money. So my thing is, if we go take the crack out of their hand, take the gun out of their hand, we got to put something back in their hand to keep them from picking back up that crack, picking back up that gun, picking back up that bad habit. So you can't, you know, it's a twofold thing. You got to do it simultaneously. You know, if you go take something, you got to put something, you got to give too. So, you know, with that reach, I would know what programs, what grants to ask for, what loans to ask for, who to talk to, what commissioners, what boards. You know, I would have that reach and that authority to actually facilitate more of what I'm doing now, unofficially, official.
We don't see Becky too much around Beaumont, like you said. Do you think she's too comfortable because she's been the mayor so long, like she don't have to attend none of these meetings and all that?
Yeah, and I don't want to speak for her, but it just looks like she's complacent. It looks like she feels like she's untouchable. Like it's been 12 years. So, you know, they just talking. They just, they on Facebook. They get on Facebook and get mad. I'm going to win again.
Yeah.
So what? You know, and that's just what it looks like because it's been 12 years. And it's the same thing.
Yeah.
So it's evident, you know, it's right there. But I can't speak for her, you know. So
has she ever reached out to you? Because I mean, like you said, you did the Dads on Deck. You did Stop the Violence, and you know what I'm saying. You've been a voice in a community that's been trying to save the community. I would think she would at least reach out to you and thank you for the things you did doing in the community. Has she ever reached out to you?
She reached out to me one time after Dad's on Deck when it went almost viral. When it went, it was on the website on Facebook. I think it was Channel 12. One of the news store. They picked it up as a story, and it went crazy. And we did our first meet that Saturday. That Tuesday, I went to. We had it was a council meeting. I went to the city council meeting that Tuesday, but it was a long meeting, and I had to go, so I left. And she actually commended me at the meeting, and she wanted to tell me something. So I came back the next Tuesday, and she told me, she came to, well, I was gonna tell you something, but you left, So she said, if you need anything, just you can call me, And like I said, I don't really like talking bad about people, but I just think, a tree by the fruit it bears, man. A tree by the fruit that it bears. And if a tree doesn't have any fruit, it's a bad tree.
You think she gonna run again? I don't think she gonna run next year.
I don't know, because it looks like with the other two guys, running, W.L. Payton there, Roy West in there, and we got a long ways to go. Somebody might pop up in there now, next 3-4 months, but I don't know. I think she should be tired. I think, especially after that nail salon incident.
Yeah, that was hurtful right there.
Yeah, that was pretty huge, man. That was huge. It was huge. But we need leaders that's not emotional. You can't lead with your emotions. Like, she got mad at Corey Crenshaw, and tried to out him. That's emotions. You know what I'm saying? That's emotions. And as a leader, like, you really can't make your decisions based off of your emotions. You have to be strategic, and that's why you got to have the right people around you to keep you accountable. To keep you in check, because everybody's human. You're gonna get mad. You're gonna get in your feelings. Whatever. But you got a job to do, and I don't know what happened with it, but that was in the middle of of the season, and you just out him like that. Then put somebody else in there that you should have known in from the charter rules, that you can't put anybody that's related to somebody that's currently on council. Like, whoa, that was just that showed me that you were mad. You just got mad and you said, I'm gonna do something, and you did something out of pocket.
To go back on the crime in Beaumont, does it frustrate you about the violence, because you do the Dads on Deck, you do the Stop the Violence, and it seemed like sometimes we can't reach these people. Does it frustrate you a little bit? Because I know with A-Tone being such a good brother, I know that kind of hits you kind of hard.
Man, and man, that really hurt, because that brother, I watched him grow. I watched him from promoting the clubs to doing stuff the right way, promoting the clubs, and trying to do his thing on the club scene. From that to coming to me and saying, because see, all my sons went to Central. I'm a basketball fanatic. I love basketball. Play ball, and we would be in the gym, and he would see all my sons. I have 4 sons. All of them went through Central, so we was always in the gym, and he saw me like, man, his dad he's always there with them kids. Coach AAU. My wife and I my wife was the president of the Booster Club at Central. I was the vice president of the Booster Club at Central. So we were always there with the kids. Like, I always stayed in the schools, working. And I saw him one game, and he came up to me, and he was like, "Oh, gee, man, I like how you move, man. And I've been watching you. Here go my number." And we talked, and it took off, and he would ask me, what about this? And we would talk about religion. We talk about politics. We would talk about, he was picking my brain. He was pulling from me. And when I saw him get it, he said, "Man, I want to get involved in politics, OG." I was like, "Well, okay, He said, I think they was doing a name change for the stadium. And he went to his first school board meeting. It was packed.
Yeah.
And that boy went sat on the front row, man. I remember seeing that, like, look at this dude, man. He went sat on the front row, and it was like he was at a basketball game. And afterwards, he said,
Yeah.
that was exciting, Gary. Like, I'm getting involved. And then after that, he came up with SLAM, Supportive Leaders of Administrating Mentorship, when we used to walk the malls before Dad's on Deck.
Okay.
We used to walk the malls and talk to the kids because they had a program called youth something program. That's when they changed the time from 9 p.m. to 6 p.m. that the kids under 18 couldn't be in the mall without a parent. So he came up with that, and he would go to all of the schools and talk to the kids and mentor the kids. He came up with the Hoops for Toys, for the kids, hooping and donating toys for the kids that, the less privileged, underprivileged kids. He came up with a hoops for toys, and it was back to school drives, and he was on it, man. And even with this mail thing, I posted it. He was like, "I got you, OG. I got you. I'm gonna make a video for you." And he wanted to do another one, and he never did get a chance to do another one, man. So I watched him grow, into a man, and he started indulging into the politics, which we need to know,
Yeah. A lot of us lacking in politics, and to be honest with you, since I started this show, I've been inspired to get more involved into the community in my neighborhood, and I got some things that I'm working on that I can't really say right now, but I've been having a lot of people reach out, and I've been learning and educating myself on some things, and I've just been inspired to reach out and help back in my community. I think a lot of us need to do that, and I didn't know the brother Apone was involved in all those programs like that.
All of that. So when a brother like that falls from allegedly somebody that's younger, it hurts, because that's what we're trying to reach. We're trying to stop that. And when a brother like that gets taken out, it takes a lot of air out of me, because it's like, I don't worry about me, whatever. My wife hates when I say that, but I'm protected, but it hurts because that's what I'm fighting against. And it's like I tell the youngsters, they don't understand, you killing two birds with one stone. You killing somebody, when you get caught, your life is gone too, because now you have to go and do time behind that. So it's two lives that's gone. Then you're gonna become a felon. Your rights, are stripped from you. So you're killing two birds with one stone. So yeah, I despise the violence, man. I hate it. That's why I came up, with the Stop the Violence, and all of that, So yeah, I hate it. It's frustrating as well.
Another thing that I've been seeing you've been doing, you've been helping people get their gun license.
Right.
So how that's been going?
Man, we actually, September the 5th will be the 4th class. And it's 50 students per class. So we'll be with 200 people.
And that's
going good, man.
Well, y'all doing y'all class once a month or every week or two?
It's the last two has been once a month. We might go to once a month, because it's slowed down because of the COVID, as well. So, but we were doing, I think the first one we did twice a month, and then we went once a month, and another one that'll be the next month. And so after, we hadn't even come up with the date after September the 5th yet as well. But it's doing good, man, because my thing is, like, some people are like, well, you're trying to stop the violence and you getting people their license. I'm like, guns are for defensive, it's a defensive mechanism. It's not an extension of your attitude. It's not an extension. We're not getting that so you can go and kill anybody. And then for the record, we're not doing that to battle anybody, any organizations. We're not doing that. We're not a militia. This is your rights, your God-given rights, and your rights as your constitutional rights to be able to bear your arms. That's to protect yourself. That's to protect your home, protect your temple. You have that right. And I believe when you teach people and educate them on guns, I think it'll be less likely that they go out and play with a gun. So that's just me. I'm a teacher. I think if you teach people things, they'll better, you do better.
Yeah. How much the class cost?
So, it's $15 deposit, and it's you pay it's $75.
Okay.
It's $75.
And it's a 1 day or a 2 day class.
It's a 1 day class from look, it's 1 day, start at 9:30 and it ends at 12:30. And then from 12:30 or 9 to 12, from 12 to probably 5, that's when we finish because it's 50 people. They have to qualify at the gun range. You do your class, and it's LTC. LTC is Eric Templeton. He's the instructor. Everybody go to his page. He actually does online as well. Eric Templeton, ERIC Templeton, TEMPLETON. Myself and Ralph Perkins, we hosted. When you can't reach me, you can get to Ralph Perkins. If you can't get to Ralph Perkins, you can get to Eric Templeton. He's a fire instructor, $75. And then after that, you have to fill out your application, send it to DPS. I believe that costs around $40 to $50. And after you do that, they'll set you up with a fingerprinting. That costs maybe $10 to $15. Get your fingerprint, you send it off, and you wait 6 weeks, and that's that.
Yeah, because I've been seeing a lot of people saying they have to go get their license. So I know y'all been kind of jammed up. I've been seeing all kinds of people at y'all class. Older ladies, younger ladies, older men.
Yeah. Because I just saw something on my page. Somebody posted it on my Stop the Violence page. A young lady was at the gas station pumping gas with looked like a 4 to 5 year old little girl in front of her, pumping gas, and the guy rolled up on a motorcycle, got on the next pump on the side of her, and pushed her in the head, man, and took her wallet, and just drove off, and it's just sickening, man. I really hate that, I really, really do. I really hate that, but we're in some crazy times right now, man. People are hungry, people are starving, and when you have that, people go do what they got to do to eat, So we have to do what we have to do to defend ourselves. And that's that.
Terry Roy, he said one of the comments he was saying about bringing trade school and mentorship programs started.
Yeah, I've been preaching that for years, man. That's probably one of the main things that I probably would when I win mayor, start pushing that. We need trade school. Everybody, and I'm gonna say this for you, just because everybody's not college material, but that doesn't mean you're ignorant. That doesn't mean you're not intelligent. Everybody's just not meant to go to college. But your college is this. Your degrees is your hands. You can weld, you can pipe fit, you can go to you can an electrical trade, you can do a CDL. It's so many other ways that you can make money versus going to college. And I'm not talking bad about college. I endorse college, but if college isn't for you, then you need to pick up a trade. ITT. I got a friend of mine that's been an architect engineer. He's doing very, very well, right now. CAD, computer aid drafting, process technology. We have to start promoting what we have in our area. You understand what I'm saying? So why not promote that? Instrumentation, process technology, computer classes, just different trades that we can actually build up in our community. And just think if we have a large trade school downtown in Beaumont. You know what that's doing? That's making a powerhouse, because now those same kids that are getting the certificates, they're going to work for Beaumont, companies in Beaumont. And they're building, and if you work for Beaumont and you're gonna take that much pride in building something in Beaumont. You're gonna take that much pride in running the wires and doing electrical work in Beaumont, laying the concrete in Beaumont, because you lay your head here, and that's building a powerhouse, and that's keeping all the outside money out, that's keeping the inside money in. We outsource our own, we shoot ourselves in the foot. We're going to hire somebody out in Houston or outside of Beaumont and let them make that money, and we have people here that can do the same job.
Exactly.
We have unions out here that they don't even work with. Shout out to the unions out there, the plumbers, electricians, Jeremy Pavlovich. I work with him. So we, the IBEW or whatnot, even the small private, vendors, but we have to work within Beaumont, and build Beaumont up first.
Yeah, that's that. A lot of people are frustrated because they seem like the people that's running Beaumont do not want to build Beaumont up. They don't want to make Beaumont exciting. I've met a lot of people with a lot of great ideas, but from what they saying is the people that's over Beaumont that do not want to implement these type of things. We was talking about downtown. You know what I'm saying? Making downtown great again. I know they tried Crockett Street, which that didn't turn out too well, but
It has to be diverse. We
yeah.
have to be diverse. We have to be diverse. In every city that's thriving, it's diverse.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's just what it is. It has to be diverse, man. It's time. It's about to be 2021.
Yeah.
It has to be diverse. We can have a casino down. We can have anything. We can have a steamboats, party boats. We can
Mm-hmm.
have dinner boats down there. I have all kind of ideas that I ain't want to say that much,
Oh,
but
yeah.
it's so much that we can do with the river. It's so much we can do with the Collier's Ferry. It's
Mm-hmm.
so much that we can do with the AT&T building. We could have did something with that. That could have been trade school. That every floor could have something on it. Every floor can have something, But it's like you said, it's the leaders that's running it. It is the stagnant, complacent, stale leadership, man.
I think
And
I think one time, not to cut you off, I think one time they tried to incorporate a water park in Beaumont and they got shut down a
yep,
few years ago.
yep. And I don't know what happened with that.
Yeah. So
But
so uh so why run for mayor again after and I know we basically answered this question, but why run for mayor again after the last run?
because I'm a winner, man. I don't quit. A righteous man falls 7 times will make him just. He gets back up. You got to get back up. You got to, if you're really serious about it, you get back in the fight.
Mm-hmm.
You get back in the fight. I know that I'm the man for this job. I know I was called for this job, and sometimes you have to experience defeat to see if you're really serious about what you really want to do, and I'm serious about it. I know that I can do better. I know that I can do better, especially after watching what happened and how close I got, and then looking at what happened through the year that I didn't, that our current mayor is holding a position.
Yeah.
It's like, come on, man. I know I could have done better than that. I could have galvanized the city better than that. I could at least,
Exactly.
right now, we could at least be working on a plan. We know that hurricane season is May to November every year.
Mm-hmm.
And we don't plan on it though. It's no plan. We don't talk about it. We don't say anything. And we did it again. Now we're mid-season. We got August, September, October, 3 more months. God bless, God forbid us to have anything else. But what are we gonna do next year?
Yeah.
Are we prepared? Is the drainage, is our infrastructure prepared for it? We're still experiencing brown water right now.
Yeah. What do you think about that? Because somebody said it was most likely residential and it wasn't on the city side.
See, that's what they're gonna say. That's what that's the easiest thing to say. Before 2015, we really didn't have a lot of these problems.
Mm-hmm.
Certain people was fired and certain people were hired. Certain people were hired. We have a city manager that's hired that wanted to retire, and they gave him a $3,000 a month pay raise. I think this our city manager currently, it's public records. You can look it up. Things like $250,000 a year that he's getting paid. My thing is, what has gotten better since he's been holding that position?
Mm-hmm.
It's the mayor's job to have the testicular fortitude to hold his hand to the fire, to make sure that he's doing the right job. See, what we have now in our governmental structure is city manager council type of structure. So, but because they're so they're so stale and complacent and they are incumbents, they've been there forever, it's reversed. Now the manager acts like the council works for him, which in fact, in reality, the manager works for council. The manager does what council says to do, but it's not like that. He runs it. And before he got there, they had a plan implemented and structured already done with the brown water. And I'm gonna read it. It's called directional flushing. It was a directional flushing plan that covers all the areas with the problem. That's how it was controlled in the past. Also, all repair areas were handled in a manner to get the brown water out of the pipes before it impacted a large number of people. Knowing which valves to open and which valves to close and which hydrants to flush is critical. Opening hydrants in the area of a repair, that's the answer. Sometimes it pushes, that's not the answer. Sometimes when you open the hydrant, it pushes the brown water into different areas that haven't even been repaired. And also, a lot of that is planning, knowing the system, directional flushing is involved, and how you manage brown water is what prevents it from impacting the citizens, which what we're experiencing today. This, let me see, they even had a study that would tell the age of the water in different parts of the city to tell if the water was time to flush, just like a radiator.
Yeah.
In 2015, when it was all switched, they stopped it because they said it was a waste of money. And you had people in place that was actually doing something about the flooding. Think about it. It didn't flood like this in certain areas in Beaumont.
Mm-hmm.
They downsized the manpower in the water department. Okay, so you making them work harder. You remember seeing the guy in knee deep in the water in the time? You know, that's man, they work their butts off. They downsized the department, they cut management, they put in new management. Some of those managers dog those employees, and nothing is done about it. Nothing is said about it. Nobody's reprimanded. They have lawsuits after lawsuits. You know, that's man, it's a lot of stuff people don't know, but I'm telling it all this time. No, I'm not holding anything back because it's a lot of corruption that's going on, and a lot of skirts need to be pulled up. It's time, because if not, then we the citizens are going to continue to suffer. We won't get any investors to come to our city because of the corruption, because of the crime, and our kids are going to keep going to jail. The prison's going to fill up, and people are going to keep leaving the city until somebody has the testicular fortitude to stand up and call these people out. And that's all I'm about.
Okay, hey, I want to leave it on that good note, but what's one thing? What's one more thing? What's your main thing you want to implement when you do become mayor? What's your number one?
Unity, man. Black, white, brown, yellow, red, pink, plaid, and polka dot. Powerhouse. North, south, west, east, Beaumont. A car with 4 cylinders. If you have 2 cylinders that's bad, you're putting a strain on the 2 cylinders that work. You will never get the maximum potential from that car until you get all 4 cylinders clicking on like that saying say, clicking on all 4 cylinders. You have to get them all up to par. If not, you're going to strain the 2 cylinders that are up to par. You have to get the whole city together to create a powerhouse, man. Think about the red line and the freeway that goes down Beaumont. One side is good, the other side not. That's red lining. I didn't come up with that, and people don't get mad at me because that's documented. You know, you can look at that and see that. You know, so if you care about, you got to care about the whole city. You got to, you have to. You know, so the people that say that I'm just for one person, y'all don't know me. Get to know me. Listen. I hope after you listen to this, you'll see. And let me say this. For people that's going into the projects with popsicles and ice cream, let me say, so should I go to the West End with Chick-fil-A sandwiches? Will that secure my vote?
Yeah, you know.
Will that secure my vote if I go to the West End with Chick-fil-A sandwiches? I pass out Chick-fil-A sandwiches in the West End. So will that make it good with the West End? Okay, it won't. That's disrespectful. And I'm trying to, that wasn't malicious. That's the truth. You will say, oh, well, this guy means well because he went to the projects and passed out popsicles. Okay, well, then that means that all I have to do is go to the West End and pass out Chick-fil-A sandwiches. No. Plus, I've been at the schools. I've been before 2015. I've been at the schools mentoring. I've been talking to the kids at Homer. I've been there. I have kids that when Miss Baptiste would tell you, I had a class that the kids broke me down in tears, Mr. Floyd. They came up to me after I spoke to them. And they was crying, say, please come back, Mr. Gary. Please come back. My dad is locked up. I don't have a daddy. You touch my heart, Mr. Gary. Can I have your number? Mm-hmm. It killed me that I couldn't go back and touch and reach all those children. Mm-hmm. I'm not doing this for fun. I'm not doing this for no notoriety. I'm not doing this for publicity, man. This is me. I don't have to go to we was in May giving a job readiness seminar, and back before all this campaign stuff was going on. That's on my Stop the Violence page. People, if you want to see my work, go to my pages. And people see, they say, look at him how he's talking, because I'm serious, because I'm passionate. You know, I'm serious about this. I mean this. If not, we're dying. And if we don't fix this, we're going to keep warring with one another, white folks and black folks. You got to understand that. Why not me? You crying about the safety of your city. I'm the one trying to keep you safe.
Yeah.
Who else? Who else is out there is willing to have the balls to go out there and stand on the corner with a casket in the North End? Who has the reach to talk to those kids? Who has that? But yeah. and if for the leaders that are here from 12, 13 years, why haven't you done that? How come it took a regular North End black guy to go and do some things in this city?
Yeah.
Not in my city spawned from Stop the Violence. Stop the Violence was first. Then the gun back program. Then not in my city. And I'm not knocking nobody, and I'm not talking about anybody. I'm just keeping it 100. Like they say, I'm keeping it real. You know, yeah. So if you serious about change, watch this video. Go look me up. My page is public. My Stop the Violence page is public. Dad's on Deck is public. Go all the way back 5 years, man. I've been working, you know, and I just told you partial plan about the infrastructure, and I got plenty more. I just don't want to say all of that because I know it's gonna be echoed. You know, I'm not getting all of that information, but I'm very astute. I'm very intelligent. I'm knowledgeable of that. I have guys that have 30 years experience in waterworks, public works, budgeting. I have, just because they said somebody else was a realtor, my sister was a realtor. My sister still is a realtor. I know, and there's several people that I don't want to say their names because they get backlash for saying that they go help me, you know, but have big real estate, you know. So I'm ready, man. I'm ready to run this city. I'm ready to turn this city around. I'm ready to make this city a powerhouse the way it should be, and let's get it.
Hey, man, I appreciate you coming on, man. A lot of people was waiting for you to come on. And what you said, I mean, was powerful from the beginning to right now. So I hope a lot of people who don't know about you watch this and pay attention to what you're saying, because, you know what I'm saying, your background is there, you know, the resume is proven. So, you know, it's no need in that.
That's it, proof's in the pudding. I'm not tooting my own horn. I'm just telling you what I've done. That's it.
Yeah. That's it. Well, hey, man, I appreciate you coming on, big dog.
And I'm proud of you. Keep doing what you're doing, Floyd.
Hey, I thank you, man. Blessings, man.
Blessing you too, man. Peace. Peace.
All right, big bro.
Peace to both, man.
100.
100.
All right, man. That was I hope y'all, if y'all caught the end of that conversation, and I hope y'all go back, man, and watch the beginning of it, man. That was spicy right there, man. That was a spicy conversation. That's probably one of the most spiciest conversations I didn't had on the show so far. But you know, anyway, man, I'm gonna continue to flow, you know, but I got another guest coming on, man. This is a young brother, man, young 21-year-old brother. He's running for Texas House 22. You know what I'm saying? Republican. You know, and I thought that was different because, you know, us as African American, we usually tend to vote Democrat. You know, we usually, you know, follow the Democratic side and things or whatever, or we go to the booth and we just vote Democrat. And what I've seen what this young brother doing, and a Republican at 21, I thought this guy, I think this guy is special, you know. And I'm the type of person, I vote on the person. I don't vote on the party. So let me bring him on, man. Let me stop talking, man. Let me stop capping. Let me bring on the young brother, Jacorian. What's up, man?
Well, how you doing, Floyd? It's been a
Hey,
long day,
man.
actually.
Hey, man. I'm glad you on, man. Like I said, what I was telling the people, you're 21 years old, right?
Correct.
Man, let the people know who you are, man. For a lot of people that don't know.
All right. Well, so I'm born and raised in Beaumont, Texas. I believe I was born at Baptist Hospital here in Beaumont, and I grew up in the North End at Pond Club, right across the sidewalk from the Cool Cup lady. You have to have a Cool Cup
Oh,
lady in every apartment. But then after third grade, my family, we moved out of the out of Pond Club, and we're straight to the West End where I reside and where we all reside actually, in different houses now since we're all grown.
so
Um,
you graduated from Ozan?
Correct. I graduated out of Ozone High School in the year of 2017. Dr. Allen was my principal for like a semester, and then I had Dr. Pruden for the rest of my years at Ozone. But before them two was Mr. Norris, which he was a great principal himself. Love Mr. Norris. And so I went to Martin, I went to Caldwell, I went to Earhart, I went to Oldham Academy. I was in high school and I studied economics and finance at Lamar University.
Okay.
So I'm great.
And you're also very strong, very involved in church. Also, I noticed that too.
Correct. Yeah, I just started going to Praise Church last year, actually, in August. So I made my 1 year a couple of weeks ago at PYA, which is a big deal for us young adults here in Southeast Texas. We have people. It's a very diverse church. Love the church. Actually, grown spiritually over the course of a year.
Hmm.
Um, I'm a part of what, three small groups now. Since it's a big church, we have small groups, and the small groups we call it like mini churches that we
Hmm.
have, and I'm a part of three, and they're all like my accountability groups when it comes to spiritual aspects. I have four of those actually that I'm a part of. Well, one of them is former.
And I noticed you said I seen you. You said that changed your life. Those groups kind of changed who you are as a person.
Correct. It changed. When you go through, I listen to a story, and I tell the story all the time. There was a guy, walking. I mean, who was driving to a conference and his tire blew out. So he's changing his tire, and the bolt rolled to the middle of the highway, and he went to go pick it up. And a log truck, an 18-wheeler log truck, came at 75 miles per hour, ran him over. He changed so he got up, changed his tire, and went to church to a conference. Like, why you're late? And he told him that story, and the people like, how can you experience go through an experience like that without being changed some sort of way. So I tell people the same thing. How can you experience God? How can you experience God and not be changed some way, physically and spiritually, mentally and emotionally? So yeah, it changed me exponentially. It was great.
Okay, so you was the former chairman for the Golden Triangle. Well, former like Republican Golden Triangle chairman.
Correct. So I was a founder and chairman of the Golden Triangle Young Republicans. I stepped down at the end of the last year. It was a great organization. I actually, as chairman, I sat on the board of directors for the state chapter, which is the Texas Young Republican Federation. I was a part of their policy committee, so I did a lot of policy work with them. One of the things that we focused on a lot in my tenure was abortion and prenatal care. So I focused on the policy side of the Young Republicans and so on and so to speak. So yeah, I was the former chairman of the Golden Triangle Young Republicans. I've actually done a lot in politics since 2018, so it's been live and well.
So let me get to the meat and potatoes. Why the Republican Party? What chose you to go for the Republican Party? I mean, be a part of that.
Answered this question many times actually, which is great. So why I chose the Republican Party? I mean, if you look at the history of the Republican Party, and while it was founded in 1854, it was to end slavery, for black equality, and black civil rights. And people say yeah, the party switched in around the 1960s, which is not true actually, and that claim has been debunked so many times. I mean, the Republican Party, 100% of them voted for 13th, 14th, and 15th Amendment, while 0% Democrat voted for it. And Republican Party 100% voted for the Civil Rights Act of 1964 and the Voting Rights Act of 1965 as well, with 0% Democrat support. And I look at that, but I also look at what I stand for and the values that I have and the principles I care about. And one of those is religious freedom. Which party supports that? So when I went back before I joined politics, I'm like, okay, what party do I need to join? Like, so I sat down with myself and I researched both parties, and it came to me. I saw the research. Religious freedom was all on the Republican side. Democrats, they don't support religious freedom. Just look at the policies that they have supported not too long ago. Actually, I care about protecting unborn lives, and that's true. If you look at the Democrat side, you have governors and mayors and representatives and congressmen talking about even the current presidential or vice presidential candidate and presidential candidate for the Democrat side talking about taxpayer funded abortions and a lot of other stuff like that. I care about the Second Amendment. I care about constitutional rights and civil liberties and protecting those. I care about educational freedom. And, when it comes to educational freedom, I look at school choice and say, hey, your school should be decided not based on your income or where you live, but based on your need and where you want your child to be educated. And, you look at the Democrat side, they want to keep you in. They want to keep you in these public schools that are continuing to fail. I mean, I graduated out of BISD, and when I went to college, I mean, I feel I was smart. I graduated out of BISD in honors. Got to college, and I feel like I was the dumbest kid in class. And there's nothing on BISD. It's just the education system itself. And so I looked at a lot of other stuff, and what got me into politics was reducing. I care about reducing the tax burden on citizens. I also care about economic opportunity. So I was like, who supports those values the most? And it came to it, the Republican Party did, and Democrats didn't. So here I am as a Republican.
And you know what? You recently spoke. It was a Republican. I guess it was like a banquet, and you spoke about Black Lives. How was you received on that? How did that turn about?
Yeah. So our theme this year for our county convention, and recently yesterday actually, our theme was Black Lives Have Always Mattered to Republicans, and I gave 3 speeches on that, and I broke it up into 3 parts. The first part was the history of the Republican Party. Then the second part was what the Republican Party stands for, and the third part is what the Republican Party stands for today and what values that we hold that'll help the Black lives itself. So when I spoke at these events, the reception, the remarks, and the response to my speech and to many other Republican speeches was actually great and was genuine. And you had action with the audience. They ask questions. How can we help? They ask questions. What can we do as a party, as Republicans, or just as human beings to show the Black community that we actually care? When it came to the Black Lives Matter, have always mattered to Republicans. I mean, the event was great remarks, great responses, and now they wanted to actually take action to help the Black community here in Southeast Texas.
And that's another one of my questions. How can the Republican Party help Southeast Texas?
So actually right now we're planning a list of events. Actually, it's 12 events. I don't believe I can speak on those 12 events yet, but trust and believe me, those are going to help out, especially in the criminal justice field. Because people, and you look at these laws, and I'll talk about this later on, is the criminalization of people in general. I mean, look at the incarceration rate in the state of Texas. The state of Texas, I mean, it's 891 per 100,000 people population, and that's higher than the United States average. And so that's higher, and the United States average is like the highest in the world. So if we look at Texas, I mean, that's pretty high. So one thing we're looking at through these 12 events is to actually give people the second chance at life. And I'm hosting it. I'm hosting it, and it's not a political ploy. It's not a campaign opportunity. It's actually something that I've been thinking about for a long time, since 2018 when I joined the political arena. I've been just thinking about how can we give these people a second chance at life. So that's one thing that we're looking at. Another thing that we're looking at right now is working with schools and working with other organizations in the community to set up mentorship programs. Right now, actually, yesterday we toured the Hope Women's Resource Clinic, and they have an amazing mentorship program for males and females, pregnant women, future fathers, future dads, future mothers, and especially those who are seeking abortion. So we're actually partnering with them, and I'm actually going to be a mentor with them soon. I have to call their executive director Monday about that. So there are a lot that we're doing in the community. We're going to actually extend that. Judy Nichols, our Jefferson County Republican Party chair, has been great. She started in 2018, and from there, the county party has changed it from a do nothing party to a grassroots activist party. So that's the one thing that I like. I love it.
I noticed that your family is very supportive of you. Now, you becoming a Republican, have you had any friends kind of say, I don't like his views now because he's a Republican? Have you faced any of those type of challenges from people?
Well, no, not for my friends actually, or family. They actually love it. Actually, my friendships and the family conversation has gotten so much more hilarious. Every time I walk in the room, it's like, oh, there go my African American Republican over there. It's hilarious, and I love it. So I can't go to a family function or an outing with friends without them bringing up, hey, there goes the Republican. Like, how your president doing? I mean, the conversations are great. But all in all, I haven't lost any friends from it, or I haven't lost any family members from it. It has kept me from gaining more friends, of course, but that's besides the point. I don't care about that. I have a great friend base with my church and with other people in the community itself. So their response to me being a Republican, I mean, they love it. We have conversations like last week actually. My older brother's best friend, who used to play for the Denver Broncos, came down to Beaumont, and we had a whole conversation. And I mean, he's a strong Democrat. Him and his girlfriend, strong Democrat. But we had a long conversation about the Republican Party and the Democrat Party, and about the state of our nation right now, and what we can do, and what we have already done in order to help, criminal justice reform or police reform, and what I believe and what the Republican Party believes. And I think they said they're independent now. So we got to look at that.
So why the Texas House District 22? Why run for that? What makes that so important to you?
So the Texas House, actually, the state representative, is not just about legislation, and it's not just about sitting in office in Austin. It's about representing the people themselves in the Texas Capitol, on the House floor. And there's a lot of stuff that comes with state representative. You're the mediator between your constituents and the state office. You're the mediator between your constituents and the federal government. I mean, you're right there in the middle. And what I tell people, and what I've told people that ask about experience or whatever it comes to like that, I always give them that petty answer. What about when they say, do you have the experience for it? And I say, yeah, the Texas Constitution, says that I have the experience for it. But and that's the question I give them. But another thing is, I look at it from a life experience perspective, and not my own life experience. I look at it from the life experience of each individual person in Beaumont, in Port Arthur, in Cheek. And so when you look at those life experiences, instead of looking at it through your own, it's like, I won't be legislating based on my own experience, but I'll be legislating based on the experience of my constituents as a whole. So the organization that I am building up right now is actually, we're going to be targeting each and every person in the community. Before I went and after I went, I'm going to have a huge organization for them. We have block walkers always on the street, meeting voters, talking with them throughout the sessions and after the sessions. And I hold many conversations and many town halls to say, hey, what do you need for me to do in the state house? So when you look at what a representative is, it's not a leadership position. You know, many elected officials, when they become a state representative or congressman, they say, "Hey, I'm your leader now." No, that's not what it is. Your position is to represent. Your position is to serve, and that's actually what I want to do. I want to represent. I want to serve the people who voted me in, the people, my constituents. I want to serve them as a whole. So that's how I look at it. And to serve them, I have to come back and talk to them face to face. So right now we're setting up many events with different people. We're block walking, meeting voters. We're meeting them we're going to them at their doors, um, meeting them in the face to face, over their phone, text messages, Facebook, Instagram, and everywhere. So one thing I like about Texas House is why and what I can do to help Texas House District 22. Wow, that's a mouthful. Is to so my three main platforms. Actually, my platform itself is criminal justice reform, education, workforce development, uh, flood mitigation, and healthcare, and so much more to it.
So, what inspired you to really get into politics at your age? You know.
So politics. Actually, I was told a story by my mom. A couple years back, I was still in high school, I believe. I think it was my freshman year. She told me a story of how she lost her business, and she owned her own business. It was actually really great. We had great Christmases. Our birthday parties were awesome. They still are. We're still young. But she told me a story of how she lost her business, and it was due to the fact that Democrats under Obama increased corporate taxes and then increased other taxes as well. So she couldn't afford to keep her business open. So she had to shut it down and get a job. And she works in the healthcare industry. So that's another thing that pushed me to be a Republican because Republicans believe in reducing the tax burden. Also, another thing that got me into politics is the state of the community itself. If you look at the education system that we have, look at our criminal justice system that we have, is not serving the people, right kinds of people. Like, for example, our education system, it went from a bottom up and it flipped to a top down approach. So teachers don't have autonomy over their classroom. They have to
Mhm.
follow rules and regulations, so that it hinders their teaching, and it also hinders the education of the students. So we need to flip that back around and go back to a bottom down education system. If you look at the criminal justice system or policing itself, criminal justice itself has been taken away from the protecting life and defending liberty and defending property to a taxes and fines society. So now you have police officers just pulling over people because they have to meet a quota or they have to write tickets so that
Yeah.
the city can pay for stuff. Like if you look at the city budget or even the state budget, taxes and fines from law enforcement have become a line item budget. There is an income. So we have to actually look at that and fix that and bring our police force and bring our criminal justice system back to a protect life, defend liberty, and defend property.
Okay. Hey, and that's a great answer. Amy, how important has Amy? I might be saying her last name wrong. Amy Pint Pint.
Pin, pin.
Yeah. How important has Amy been to you
Well,
and your
Amy.
campaign?
So I actually met Amy in 2018. Actually, at the end of 2017, when I became her intern on Greg Abbott's re-election campaign, and I block walked with her for like 6 months, and we just kept in touch since then. She was actually very valuable to the campaign. She's done a lot. I mean, she literally helped me through the entire process itself. So she's very valuable to me personally and to the campaign as well.
Okay. Now another question. Joe Biden said you're not black if you don't vote for him. Well, you're a Republican, so I don't think you're voting for Joe Biden. And me looking at you, you look black. So, how you feel about him saying
Oh, I'm the darkest black person you'll probably ever meet, which is
that?
awesome. Every school I've been to, I was like number one or number two in the most amount of melanin in my skin. So when Joe Biden said that, it's like it never. I mean, I'm not surprised he said it. Actually, I mean, just look at his record. He has locked up more black people than uh, any Republican in modern day history that I know of so far. Uh, so when he said that, it's like he owns technically. It seems like he owns the black vote, or that his party owns the black vote, and that's how it's been for decades. Actually, Democrats believe that they own the black vote, and I don't believe any single party should own the black vote or
True.
any votes. Period. They should actually work for it. So you have Democrats every election year come down and say, "Hey, I promise you this and this and that." And then they get elected into office and nothing changes, nothing happens. So I believe that black people themselves should just, or people in general, should just write down a list. And I think Killer Mike said this great when he was on
Okay.
that panel with Candace Owen and Ti. He said, write down a list of demands, your 10 items, and present it to each of the candidates and see which one of them uh, represents your list of demands more, and that's how politics should be ran.
Uh, Another question: have you noticed more African American turning Republican?
Actually, yes, actually have. If you look at it from 2016 to now, um, Trump jumped from 6%. He got only 6% of the black vote in 2016, I believe. And right now, if you look at the polls, and I really don't follow polls like that, but I looked at a credible poll, totally forgot the name of it, and he's at around 37%. And yesterday at the event I was at, it was very diverse itself. It was great, and I loved it. But I do see more black people joining the Republican Party, or just even thinking about it. I mean, you see it on social media all the time. You see the hashtag Walk Away or Blexit, or you see Blacks for Trump, or you see Black Republicans or the Black Conservative Coalition, which we have a Texas chapter ran by actually one of my very good friends, Marcus Johnson. So I do see a huge jump from the Black community from Democrat to Republican.
And also, do you think the Democratic Party let down? I mean, you kind of answered that, but do you think that they're constantly letting down African Americans year after year?
You know, and it can't totally bash a political party, but just to give you a simple answer, yes. I mean, black people have been voting for Democrats for years. Crime rate has been increasing. If you look at our neighborhoods, they have been deteriorating. If you look at their criminal policies, more black people have been put in jail. I mean, the reason for the marijuana law or drug ban and the war on drugs is due to Congress action in the 1930s. It's all racial based, so we need to fix that as well.
Yeah.
But Democrats, I believe they have let them down. If you look at the welfare system itself, food stamps, they encourage more people to be put on food stamps, but that's just a supplemental program. You don't want people to stay dependent on the government. We want people to actually be dependent on themselves. We want people to be independent. So you have them actually advocating for everybody to be put on welfare systems or welfare programs, and that's one thing I just can't support. Yeah, I understand food stamps, and I want to keep food stamps. I understand Social Security and all those other programs, but you also need to help people become financially independent and financially stable, and actually wane them off of welfare supplements.
Before you go, what are some things that you're proud about that Trump has done in office?
Actually, there's a lot to it.
Mhm.
Nobody's perfect, and as a conservative, we believe that everybody is a sinner. But
Mhm.
as a conservative, we believe that we want to be controlled by as least sinners as possible, which is the truth. But Trump has done a lot. I mean, if you look at it from an economic standpoint and compare it to Obama's economy, I mean, yeah, Obama economy was going up, but if you look at the trends and if you look at the charts and the trends, and I actually studied the charts and the trends because I'm an economics major, you see that it was becoming stagnant. As soon as 2016 happened, there was a huge increase in employment, in jobs. I mean, we are full in, we are at full employment. We have so many jobs that not enough people can fill them. Or actually, we were until COVID-19 hit. So you saw under Trump, which he did, he has a record number of regulation elimination. And so what that has done was free up our economy and free up jobs. And brought like 400,000 manufacturing jobs back to the United States and 4 million jobs since the 2016 election. So you see, we had a record low unemployment. Not just that, we had a record low unemployment for the minority community, for Hispanics and African American community. He signed the biggest tax reform in history, and which doubled the standard deduction, increased it from 3,500 between 3,500, 6,500 to 12,000 and 24,000, and that's huge. I actually was a tax professional during that year, so I got the chance to sit down with my individual tax clients and show them, here's your year and here's what happens. And as you see, their refund actually increased significantly. Or if they didn't have a refund, if they had a liability, they had to owe the government, it went from a liability to a refund. So that's one thing that he has done. He signed the right to trial legislation, which after he signed that legislation, many people that I know were put on trial drugs, which has proven beneficial to them, which is great in my opinion. He also increased coal exports to about 60%. U.S. oil production has increased to an all-time high. His administration actually has more affordable healthcare options for Americans through association health plans and short-term plans, or short duration plans. My apologies. So there are a lot of things that he's done that I like. He can stay off Twitter. I believe he can stay off Twitter. He tweets a lot. I follow him too. But all in all, right now we're fighting human and sex trafficking, and that's why he's focused a lot on the border between the southern United States and between Mexico. Which I actually had a friend who was a border patrol agent who went between the border and the White House. And he told me many stories about human and sex trafficking that happened when people crossed the border, and we actually fighting a literal war on our border. So I do applaud him on his efforts there with human and sex trafficking. And Texas is one of the biggest. Actually, we're the capital of the United States when it comes to human and sex trafficking, and it's actually coming into Jefferson County. And the capital city is Houston, which is literally like an hour and a half away from us. Depending on how you drive, I get there in an hour. But yeah, so he has done a lot good that I support and will continue to support.
Okay, so when can people vote for you? Like when is that election for you?
So the early voting starts October 13th and will end on October 30th. So it increased so instead of 2 weeks, it's 3 weeks, and then the general election is on November 3rd this year.
And how long is the term for Texas House 22?
So state representatives is 2-year terms.
And how has this campaign been? Has it been frustrating? Has it been stressful?
Well, COVID-19 made it frustrating. We had so many plans to reach out to voters and just to talk to normal people, which is all I care about, is talking to normal people. And COVID-19 made it frustrating. Locked down everything. Couldn't really go out to do anything. Right now, you still have bars closed, which is actually terrible in my opinion. And if you look at it from a constitutional standpoint, it's unconstitutional what the governor and what mayors have done across the United States and here in Texas, and what kind of judges have done. But yeah, all in all, I actually enjoyed the campaign. It's my first time running for a public office. In 2018, I was actually an elected official for the Jefferson County Republican Party. I was a precinct chair for Precinct 5, but I really didn't have to run an election or campaign for that. So this is my first time.
Not to cut you off, what's your ultimate goal? Become president of the United States?
No, I actually just care about serving people. I mean, that's all I care about, is just serving people, and I'd rather do it from a state representative standpoint than go off to the federal government because the federal government is just too much, and they really don't impact us as much as the state or as much as the county or city or school boards. So that's all I care about, certain people here in the state of Texas and in Southeast Texas itself.
Well, hey man, I appreciate you coming on. I would love to have you come back before the voting ends, man, so you can kind of make a case so people can have a reminder of who you are, man. Because like I said, you being 21 and you being so bright and having ideas, man, and what I'm saying, coming from this area, I'm just, what I'm saying, I feel like it's an honor to have you on because I see you doing big things, man. I can always say, man, I had him on my podcast show, the KikBack, and I can go ahead and show people this video, man. So, I mean, I'm proud of you, man. You know what I'm saying? Coming from the North End, graduating from Ozan, graduating from Lamar, and now running for, what I'm saying, a state representative, man. More power to you.
Oh, yeah. Thank you for inviting me. I would love to come back on your show.
Yeah, man, because I want to remind people of who you are, man. They, things change every day, and when that voting comes, they're gonna be like, who was that guy? And so I just want people to have a reminder of who you were, man.
Yeah, and I was hooked to your show after the Mike Guest one, so I actually enjoy your.
Oh, Mike, yeah,
so Mike. I'm actually following this now more than ever.
I appreciate you, man. I thank you.
No problem. Hey, thank you for inviting me.
Man, be safe out there.
You too.
All right, man. Peace.
You have a good one.
Well, that was the show, people. And this was it was a good show. I ain't gonna lie. Once I end this, I'm gonna go back and watch the show again, to be honest with you. I usually don't watch the show till the next day, but I'm glad that young man came on. 21-year-old Republican, African-American dude, bright, smart, great ideas, willing to serve the community. And I want a lot of people out there, when y'all go out there and vote, don't just go vote and be like, I'm finna just make it real simple and just vote Democrat, or I'm gonna make it real easy and just vote Republican. You got good people on both sides that's willing to provide services for this community. You know what I'm saying? Know who you vote for. So I want to have him on the show so you can see the other side, because a lot of people just see the Democrat side, or they just see the Republican side. So I want y'all to see both sides, and I want y'all to have. I wanted Gary to be on the show to talk to show how much he does care for this community, and him running for mayor. And a lot of people know that, but you know what I'm saying, I want to put it in a lot of people's face. What's up, Joseph Trahan? What's up, man? I hit you. I inboxed you. You did not respond to my inbox. I know you've seen it. Mitch, I got Mitch coming on, man. I can't wait to talk to you, Mitch. That video you sent me, man, that song was in my head the whole day at work, man. But I think a guy said, is my show political? No, it's not political. I talk about everything, you know what I'm saying? We might talk about sports one day, Roger Williams. But no, we talk about everything, man. It's just the people I had on. This was just a show with politics. The show yesterday, I had a lady on. She was talking about real estate. And I had another lady on, and she was talking about the census. So, you know what I'm saying? This is a diverse show. So I'm finna get out of here, man. I thank y'all for tuning in. I love y'all. Please like, please share. And we gonna keep going on, man. You know what I'm saying? Oh, next week's show is the mental health show. I have a therapist. She coming on. I got a young brother, young life coach. He's coming on and talk. Mental health is serious, y'all. A lot of people think you can pray it away. You can't pray away mental health. You need to get counseling. You need to get professional help, you know. So I got a therapist coming on next Friday. I'm trying to get this other therapist to come on. I got a young, positive brother, life coach. He's coming on. And it's going to be a good show, man. It's going to be Friday. It's going to be a Friday show, 8 p.m. Y'all check it out. It's going to be the mental health show. It's going to be real important. A lot of people need to keep in tune, man, and know what's going on definitely with this show next week. So, man, y'all stay safe out there. Y'all be blessed. Y'all be positive. And I see y'all next week, man. 100.